welcome to my channel. My name is Emmy from Emmy Evolving. If this is your first time joining me, thank you for finding me. If this is not your first time, thank you for coming back. So I'm live on TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, and Vimeo. I will eventually acclimate. Eventually, I will acclimate. So, all right, let me get a few things on the screen. If you guys don't already know, I teach workshops. I run an academy. It's based on quantum chaotic science. If you would like to learn how to work energy the way I do, simply go to K33Academy.com/store and you'll see all of the workshops that I have available. I also run a certification program. So if you'd like to get certified to work on clients, that would be the best thing to do. All right. So let's get started. I asked what this reading was going to be about, and what I heard is confused about what to do. Someone's confused. I don't know who, but someone's confused. Oh, the disdain. I don't know. I'm totally the type of person that I will do things even if I don't know what to do, how to do it, when to do it. I will just do. I'll do things, because yeah, that's what I do. And so sometimes it becomes something very grinding on my gears, having to have all the answers and all of that before I comply with soul. I'm learning to just comply, submit to the will of soul, no one else, right? Anyways, so guys, if you're watching me on TikTok, it might be, oh shoot, it might be best to find me on YouTube because I'm live there. Yeah, Zero Fox Given, I don't know what you mean. I'm just like, Zero Fox Given says, why does the Avon lady walk funny? Because her lipstick. I don't know. It's called nervous laughter. I don't know what the hell you're talking about. I'm a bit slow today, just like I am every day. All right, let's get started. So here goes. Ooh, okay, someone doesn't know what to do. Is it you? Is it someone else? Not too sure. I'm not too sure. Whoever this is that doesn't know what to do, they are a mirror of you, right? No, and yeah, it's on TikTok. It's on TikTok. So they're a mirror of you. They're a mirror of your shadow, and this is something that I guess you just really need to allow yourself. Hold on. Let me fix something. Cuz I feel like I'm too low. Okay. This is someone who kind of acts as a mirror of you. They're unsure. They feel like they're still in some type of emotional winter. And with that, if you look right in here, see right in there, it's almost like a candle. They're like, and I've never noticed that detail. I've had this deck for quite a few years. It's this candle that they're holding even in wintertime. I wonder if it's like that concept of holding keeping a candle for you, right? Like, they feel like they've been pushed away and kept in a tower space. And that tower space is something that um, they feel very removed from you, or you feel removed from the person you want to be around. And it's like this candle is still burning. There is a flame that I hope I hope I can just behave myself. Is what it is. Anyways, so the thoughts of you or your thoughts of this person are very, very difficult to clear away. This is something that continues over and over and over. I thought this was going to be like, I thought this was going to be a reading for the collective whole. I'm thinking at this point, let's just kind of like full disclosure. I'm kind of thinking that this is probably going to be some like low key um twin flame type reading. Okay. So we're not going to be sour about it. We're not going to be um I just noticed I have hella cleavage popping out. Shit. Let me tie this shut. Definitely a different view on TikTok. Sorry. Anyways, this is something that it's like they didn't start it. They weren't trying to do anything, or you weren't, but there's a lot of just invocation. Um it's kind of a sense that the higher self, this is a higher self thing, and the higher self is the one that keeps initiating this subject, this topic, right? So I want to make sure that I cover all my bases. This is not going to, if this is twin flame stuff, this is not going to be a reading about someone who's toxic for you, toxic towards you. This is not going to be someone who maltreats you on purpose. um yeah, if that's who you're thinking about, a person who has treated you poorly, or that's not your twin flame. That's a bad person. Okay, that's a bad person. A true twin does not treat you like caca. A true twin does not treat you like caca. It's this thing of they're in their own process, and sometimes, your process and their process kind of butt heads. And so, yeah, no, sometimes there'll be some unintentional hurt feelings, but this is never someone who's intentionally trying to hurt you. I want to make that very clear, because we need to start changing the narrative that exists pertaining to twin flames. You are not to put up with their caca and uh, love them in such a way that you think you're going to heal them, and they're going to suddenly, once they realize um, how important you are in their journey, they're going to start treating you nice. No, 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 absolutely not. What you are probably in is a type of, if that's what you're going through, you're probably in a connection that is a narcissist empath type of connection. And because of that, um, that belief that it's a twin, you are tolerating behaviors that you normally would not tolerate, because you deserve better than that. My personal logic is that if it is a twin that you are dealing with, any type of twin, they are to treat you better than random people would treat you. They are to be held to a higher degree of accountability regarding their behavior and their treatment of you. Okay. So at no point is a twin, a real twin, supposed to be hurtful and harmful to you. There is a lot of lies that are just constantly pumped into social media platforms regarding what a twin is and how they're supposed to treat you, and all of this and all of that. That's what I be really irked about. I don't know, it irks me. That's why I'm so hesitant to talk about twin flame stuff, twin flame reads, and all of that, because I don't like knowing that there is a very high potentiality that something I say regarding such a sacred connection with another person could and most likely will be used um, to justify someone's poor treatment of you. No, no, no. I have found several twins. Obviously, I'm married. I've been married for a very long time. I'm in a very committed, very monogamous relationship. And I've found several twins. I have no interest in romance with someone else. And these are people who the resonance between us is something so intense. And I feel so comfortable around them. They feel so comfortable around me. But um, there's never this confusion of how they should be treated and how they should treat me. There's never questions about that. They see me as I am and they treat me to the degree that I need to be treated. Right? So that's something to always keep in mind if you think you're dealing with a twin. Um, if they're not capable of giving you the respect, the consideration, the cherishment that um, you're worthy of, then I don't know. I don't know. And let me tell you, I've found twins who are very rough around the edges, um, counterparts that have consistently treated other people poorly, right? They have these trauma responses, and they have treated other people they are in close connection with poorly. Have they done that to me? No. Why? Because they fucking know. I'm not going to take your shit. Are you kidding me? I will continue to exist even in your absence, mofo. you know? So that's the thing. You have to make sure that, my readings can apply to so many different things. When it comes to the twin flame topic, you have to be very careful about the way you apply it. So, I just definitely want to put that out there. So, again, this is someone who's been in a spiritual winter, right? And now it's summer. But look, that candle still burns, right? I'll show you guys too. The candle still burns right there, right? So it's this thing of through all the different seasons, this candle is burning, I guess, for you, or you are kind of serving as a lighthouse for them, regardless of what the season is, regardless of inclement weather. You carry within you a light that helps them to find their way through their journey, possibly. Um, no, it does. A twin doesn't necessarily have to have the same um, zodiac sign as you. It's not always going to be something where um, you guys are exactly the same. What I've found um, to be true for twins is that for any given topic, you are either exactly the same in your stance or polar opposites. There's no middle ground, you know? Um, there's no middle ground. So I feel like that's kind of one of the indicators that there's a potential that you guys might have that type of connection. Uh, before you start identifying someone as a twin, you need to ask yourself why you're identifying them as that. What is the goal? What is that about? Right? Um, you got to be careful. That's all I can say is that you got to be careful. You have to use discernment when it comes to the twin topic. All right. So, yeah, I guess this is a twin flame read, I suppose. Nothing wrong with that as long as you guys are able to responsibly receive the information. Okay. So, grounding, you serve as the ground, the soil from which they grow, right? The masculine energy is the one that's seeking the connection. It's a masculine energy. It's not necessarily male, but it is a masculine energy, right? The more masculine of the two is the one that is seeking the energy. Oh. I just realized something that's cracking me up. Anyways, so whoever this is for you, they are being given the guidance that's necessary to get them back to the spaces that they need to exist in within themselves. This guidance is the foundation to initiate a new mindset. It's a foundation to initiate a new mindset. Their mindset revolves around you right now, whoever this is for you. Okay. So there's a lot of things that were needing to be overcome. There were a lot of opportunities and necessity for alchemical change. I'm wondering if part of what they needed to do to initiate this massive growth within them is to shift the foundation from which they think, right? Their environment, it might indicate that they've changed their environment. This is someone who maybe at one point they were surrounded by individuals who kept like interfering with their process, right? Um Maybe this is someone who at some point they they were led to feel as though the best thing was to kind of turn their back on you, and then at some point they figured out like, yeah, no, that's not going to work, because it's not going to work. It's just, it doesn't work when you try and avoid the very things that you need to learn and who you need to learn with. It doesn't work. So let's see. Hmm. So this is kind of like explaining the portions of the journey that this individual has been on in your absence. Okay. So they didn't have anyone to teach them. They had no celestial teacher. They got very upside down in their perceptions because the environment that they existed within was an environment that was very much ugh, yeah, that sucks. That sucks. They were surrounded by people who it's a sense of like these are people who were intimidated by you, people who didn't agree with you having a place in that person's life. These are like control freak type people, you know? It's hard to say because it's like mm, it's really hard to say. It's really, really hard to say. They were surrounded by people who were not in alignment with what the two of you needed to learn. So it became this thing of constantly in their ear about you, talking about things and insinuating things that they didn't know anything about, whoever these people are. So they didn't have anyone to kind of help guide them through the process that they're in. Um, and this process was a very elevated process, right? It was a very intense, very unusual internal process that they were in. This internal process, because of your absence, not your fault, but just to explain to you why it took so long for this person to come to the conclusions that they finally are coming to. The environment that they were in, it was working against their developing understanding of your proper place in their life, of why and how you're going to help them to learn the things they need to learn. Um, this is really a bad situation. I don't know, for however long this has gone on, there's been a lot of hurt that has kind of reverberated between the two of you, right? Um, it's kind of just this weird dynamic that was established in the absence of truth. I almost wonder if this is someone who I wonder if this is someone who did they make up stories for themselves? Like they couldn't get the answer from you, and so they began creating an entire storyline in their mind regarding you. Not necessarily bad mouthing you, more like, I guess more like they told themselves this whole story about how you don't like them, they're not enough, um, you don't want them around, just that kind of thing, right? Um, that's the feel that I get. That someone initiated some type of internal dialogue or monologue, um, that kind of created an amplification of the divide that occurred between the two of you. It was a division, and this very parasitic. The energy of it is very parasitic. Like people were in their ear. The sense that I get is that people were in their ear because you are not the type of person that can be easily controlled. And because you can't be easily controlled, I'm assuming it's women. Um, I mean, men don't really have that kind of like cattiness in general terms, of course. They don't initiate conversations with other men to be petty. I mean, I don't know. I guess there are guys that exist that are like that, but I know quite a few guys. And they typically don't do that. That's not typical. Well, let me put it this way. That's not typical healthy masculine behavior, right? Um, but I mean, that's not to say that they wouldn't join in the conversation if it's initiated. I don't know. The sense is female. There were females in the ear regarding you because you can't be controlled, you can't be coerced. Um, it's almost cultish type behavior where do you guys know people who are in either friend groups or family groups where there's one person who kind of clucks after everyone else and they dictate how everything will go, right? Um does that make sense? They will like dictate, they will dictate it. And I think whoever this leading hen is, it's some chicken head behavior, chicken butt behavior. I mean, it's I don't know how to explain it. There are several females, and one of them has a little bit more intelligence than the others, and they kind of guide the conversations into the directions they want. Ones where they can control the narrative, right? And then um, the sense that I'm being given is that the other one, there's a second one, that these two work closely together. The second one had this, they wanted a specific outcome. Number two wanted a specific outcome. So number two went to the head chicken and was like, oh, we need to blah, 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 blah. What do you think? And of course, the head chicken was like, you're right. I cannot stand people like that. I can't function in groups like that. I just don't have it in me. But that's the sense that I get. So existing in that type of environment, this person's level of awareness was really compressed until it became so dense that the communication from soul couldn't get through, right? They couldn't get through. And what ended up happening was a lot of this. Diminishing of their strength. Their strength was greatly diminished. They were crippled by it, right? They felt very ashamed, very embarrassed. There's a lot of emotional manipulation going on to get them to kind of walk away from you. You know, I noticed the people who really are not um, the most qualified to talk on things, they tend to be the one who likes to cluck the loudest. They like to cluck as though they know the most. I can't stand people like that either. I tend to be the person where, like in real life setting, I'm not gonna say nothing unless you engage me and ask me these questions. And even then, I'm gonna be like, "How? I mean, are you sure you don't want me to just listen?" Like, uh, how much do you want me to tell you? Are you sure you want my opinion? How honest do you want me to be? So, it's you guys got to be careful about the person who loves to hear themselves speak. You got to be very, very careful about that, okay? And so, for whoever this is for you, they're finally in this space of realizing they need to surrender to the process that they're in. They need to surrender to it. It's the very thing that will set them free. And I think they are craving, I am so hot at this point. I think they are craving a freedom from this very oppressive environment. It's very, very oppressive, very manipulative too. I think they've known this, but they are so consistently gaslit into this space of like, no, we love you. I love you. I'm not going to hurt you. Why would I lie to you? Because you're a trick ass hoe. That's why. Because you like to be right. That's why. Because another female is threatening your place as Mother Goose. That's why. There's so many reasons as to why someone would behave this way. I don't know. Psychological issue much? People who have a tremendous amount of psychological struggles are absolutely capable of behaving in this way. That's a reality. That's a reality. People who are highly manipulative, um, people who are very distorted in their perceptions, they have the capacity to behave that way, to say things in such a way that paints a picture that's not completely accurate. I find it's much more wicked to give a half truth than it is to completely lie. It takes a certain level of intelligence to know the ratio between truth and lie and be able to be successful in the spreading of that half truth, right? It feels like this might be someone who maybe they're highly educated, and just because you're educated does not necessarily mean you're intelligent. Okay. I know people who are educated and intelligent, but those two are not necessarily tied to each other. I also know quite a few people who have degrees and they're not very intelligent. So, this is someone who probably is very educated, but not as intelligent as they like to believe they are. And I think to some degree they know this about themselves. They can sense it. It's a very deeply hidden insecurity for that individual. And so whenever they get to a point where their intelligence might be put into question, they end up acting a fool like this, where they make statements as though it's factual when it's not. And I think for whoever this main person is for you, the cross watcher, they were very much manipulated emotionally, intellectually. Like there was so much manipulation that went on in this. I don't think you were involved, you know? I don't think you were involved at all. See, okay, so I love this comment. Sheeman says, They just studied to pass the tests, no retention of actual information. So that's educated, being able to retain the information you're taught. Intelligence is being able to apply the information rather than regurgitating it. Huge difference. Huge difference. So your cross watcher was highly manipulated by someone who was, I guess, very educated, but probably not as intelligent as they wanted to be, right? And so a lot of this stems from some pretty intense manipulation, emotional manipulation. I think the crosswatcher is coming to a realization of what was done to them, how they were played. I think they're pissed. I think they're pissed. And I think you exist in a world within them, right? You exist in a world within a world. So you are self-contained within their heart space, within their thoughts. And it's becoming this thing of they're no longer going to partition you. That's you've been kept partitioned, heavily partitioned. Um, it's also a sense of they tried really hard to kind of move forward to stay away from you. Um, and I think you pretty much probably moved on as well. But it continues to circle back around, cycle back around. And now it's become a thing of it cannot be ignored. There is learning that's needing to transpire between the two of you. And it can't be ignored anymore. It can't be pushed off. Um it can't be delayed, the learning. I think whenever the twin flame topic comes up in a reading, we have to abstain from this assumption of romance and fully immerse ourselves into the very high potentiality that this is about finishing off the lessons you began together. Learning. It's about learning. It's about growth. It's about healing. So, yeah, this is a mirrored soul. Okay. This is someone who, um, remember, like the first card. Hold on before I drop everything. Right? They're a mirror of you. They're still in the shadow, but they're there. They are there. Okay. So, this is a mirrored soul. This is someone who has the same intensity and sensitivity as you. However, you've experienced this part of your journey, they've experienced it in a very comparable manner. If you hurt, they probably were hurting as well. If you felt liberated in some way, they probably felt that as well. If you felt embittered, um, they probably felt bitter towards you as well. But now those emotions are being recognized as faulty. Those emotions are being seen for what they are, creations of an outsider who lacked compassion because they lacked understanding about the process that the two of you were in. Right? I'm totally yeah, it doesn't have to be romance. It could be absolute friendship, like the most purest, most beautiful, um, most just, it could be something so beautiful. So, so beautiful. If you remove that romantic component from it, then, it could be something that can be the catalyst for profound healing and growth for both of you. Thank you for the roses. Let's see. Okay. This connection is not something that will change. It's not going to go through a metamorphosis and become something else. Okay. Ascension is not necessarily about metamorphosis. For many of us who function in a way where it's not your most authentic self, right? For many of us, we don't allow ourselves to be our most authentic self. We hide a lot of who we are because the environments that we exist in don't allow that, don't give permission. It's not about you being fake, it's about you understanding social standards. With this, you're not being asked to change, you're being asked to undo the changes, the unnatural changes, unnatural modifications that you agreed to simply because you wanted to fit in socially, right? So, to the person who's trying to access my energy, I would highly recommend you stop. If you have no idea of the capacity of my abilities, I would highly recommend that you stop. Highly recommend it. Highly recommend. Um so with that, nothing's going to be changed, okay? That metamorphosis, you're not asking to be changed. You're being asked to strip away all of these different masks and costumes, characters that you've played. Um this is going to be something that's used to build you up. Your understanding of yourself and the true nature of you, your authenticity, that's going to be built up even more. Okay. New dimensions in reverse. You're not needing to go to some other space, to some other place, right? No, you're being asked to address things where you are right now. And I would absolutely recommend that you address this where you are. You don't, it's not something where you have to wait until you reach a certain level of development, of gift cultivation. Um, no, this is something that just needs to be allowed to happen. So I think it's becoming important that I allow some of my energy to be felt. I'm trying to remain in a neutral space. I am not yet spiritually mature enough to be able to help myself when it comes to heavy handed defense of my energy. You have no idea what you're starting with me. So, for the sake of me being able to continue with what I'm doing without getting fucking ugly right now, I'm going to access that person's energy without consent because I have the ability to do so. I'm going to turn off all your abilities. It's either that or I fuck your ass up while live. So, you must think I'm passive. I'm not. Don't worry. All y'all on TikTok will get to know me much better. And you'll understand why you don't fuck with someone like me. So, when this live stream is done, I'll consider giving you back your abilities. Or I might conveniently forget because that's a dick move what you're doing. I can see your face. You're kind of worried. You should be. Absolutely. You should be. You came across a real one. Yeah. I don't do Reiki. I have my own energetic system. It's a Melchizedek war system. When I say I teach quantum Kalantic science, you probably have no idea what I'm talking about. Because if you did, you'd know. This is not one you want to play with. Just because you haven't entered into the live stream does not mean I don't have access to your face. Not good. Not good. Your behavior is not good. I see your screen name too. There are those who are like me. The regular rules of sovereignty don't apply. I'm authorized to access your space without your consent. And whatever declarations you think you can make, I can override them. I'm showing you leniency right now. Especially being all your abilities are turned off. I know exactly what channels to use to access the parts of your morphogenetic template that give you access to your abilities. You didn't know. That's too bad. Too bad. You're embarrassed. Good. You might be able to learn. Keep watching me. You'll have no abilities, but keep watching me. I might be able to teach you how to be a good person once again. I'm not giving you your abilities back. And if you think you can take it, that's cute. That's cute. Anyways, let's look at this. Dispel darkness in reverse. So there's darkness and energy that's wafting around you that really it comes from a shadow space within you as well as within the other person. There's a commingling of the shadow. So creation is the everything, the nothing, and the spaces in between. So complete blinding light and complete absence of light, darkness, complete darkness, and then the shadow space where the light and the dark play together, right? It gives nuanced form, it gives nuance to texture. It helps give a sense of depth. And so that's what's being commingled right now. You know, that's what's being commingled. The two of you, this, where is it? Where's the card? Here. Worlds within worlds, right? So it's this thing of like the spheres, the worlds within worlds, they're colliding into the Pisces Vesica. And, you know, you don't have to dispel this darkness. This darkness is actually just the shadow aspects of the two of you, because that's where much of your power is hidden away, you know? It's time for you to observe the ways in which your duality has gone upside down. You've been very upside down in the way you see yourself in your process because you lack clarity, right? You need to have the clarity that's necessary. Well, I said that as a run. You need to have the clarity. It's necessary to be clear within yourself about what you're trying to accomplish, what this is all about. There's no need to fire cleanse. There's a potentiality that part of the message there is that you don't have to be afraid of their fire. I don't know if you're dealing with someone who is a fire sign. Maybe their moon is a fire sign, because I feel water as well. So maybe water and fire, they're all steamy over this. Water and fire are the primary things that I'm picking up on. You might be dealing with someone who has sun, moon, or rising in a water and a fire sign. So this is someone who you shared a past life with, but that dynamic you had in the past life, it's not going to be the same in this life. It's going to be a whole different type of dynamic. So it's not going to be parasitic. Maybe in a previous life, there was some type of parasitic stuff going on, maybe between you. Maybe it was initiated by someone else to affect the two of you in a previous life. There's so many different potentialities to this, but whatever it is, it's affected the two of you to the degree that parasitic things have been in play. Maybe that's why the previous life, this one, it's in reverse, because there was something parasitic in this life, this previous life, that is not going to be allowed to continue in this one, right? That's the sense. So you don't have to be scared. You don't have to be worried about their fiery nature. Or maybe their fire is like laser focus. It's like a torch. And they've learned or are learning how to harness that type of intense, concentrated flame, right? Or maybe they see you like a flame, like a torch. It's a very intense type of burn. At one point, there was an abundance of parasitic influence, parasitic situation. I really feel like they were surrounded by silly ass hoes. I feel like they were surrounded by silly ass hoes. I'm being so freaking honest right now. I feel like they were surrounded by petty people who don't understand the gravity of the bullshit that they were initiating. A very serious process was interfered with. Right, Victorious? I'm saying. She's laughing. Their wisdom is waking up. So Gnosis is knowledge, knowing. When you apply that knowing to your life, when you exert some type of intelligence rather than regurgitate something that was memorized, you're like, applying what you've learned. You enter into a space of knowing. You enter into a space of like being able to really, intentionally create your journey, intentionally create the aspects of your journey that will help you to recover more of your truth and more of yourself. Thank you, GFLC Lightworker Danielle. That's a long ass. Boo! I'm not laughing at your name. I'm laughing at my I couldn't read it. GFLC Lightworker Danielle. I got it right. I thought I was just making stuff up. That's why I was laughing. I thought I was making stuff up. Okay. This person, your cross watcher, is stepping into a space of gnosis. They know what happened. They know how they were played. They know. They know. They know. They know. Woo. They know. They're pissed. Ooh, it's bad. They're whoever this is for you, they are realizing quite a bit. They are realizing, I feel the anger. I don't know if it's one of you that's realizing, like one of you who's watching, it's making sense. You're realizing that you're very much manipulated, that, your emotions were played with, not by the person you're cross watching for, but by the people you trusted to have your back, the people you trusted to be honest with you. They were not honest with you. They were trying to control you. Ooh, I feel like I'm just egging y'all on. Maybe I should egg you on though. Absolutely. You should be pissed. Why should you be okay with someone tampering with your life? How long did you hurt because of this? How long did you hurt? How long did you suffer in silence because there was no one to talk about this with? Because everyone in your environment was under the thumb of this queen bee character. How long did you feel crazy for feeling what you feel? That's fucked up. It's fucked up. Now, do you have to retaliate? No, that's not going to change what they did. It's not going to give you back what you feel you lost. So, what should you do? Hold them accountable. Never forget. It's not about holding a grudge, it's about accepting when someone shows you the truth of their character or lack thereof. If you're going to do this kind of stuff to me, I accept that's who you are. A shitty person. I accept that about you. You're just a shitty person. That's that, right? And once I accept that about you, then I have to make the appropriate decision about your proper place in my life. I don't have space in my life for shitty people. I just don't. I'm not sorry. And I don't feel bad because I'm not wishing harm upon someone else. I'm exerting some type of control over my life and my space. I am intentionally cultivating my life's garden. So we'll put it in this way. You've created a garden and um you're allergic to ragweed, right? This type of plant that a lot of people are allergic to. So, well, let's I don't want TikTok to think I'm talking about explicit substances because I'm not. I'm talking about a plant. So let's say you are allergic to a cacti. You have a cacti allergy. Why the hell would you allow a cactus to grow in your garden? You're allergic to it. Ooh, Chris says, people take advantage of my vulnerability. It hurts. I forgive them, then they persist in hurting me. So that's no longer taking advantage of your vulnerability. That's you exposing your vulnerability as an invitation to enter. I'm not saying you deserve it. I'm pointing out what you need to change within your life to stop those persistent people from being able to do that to you. Okay. Vulnerability is not weakness. It's not. Just because you're vulnerable does not mean you are weak. When I enter into spaces of vulnerability, I am quite possibly at my most powerful because of the way my life has gone, and the things that I've been traumatized by. When I'm in a space of vulnerability and someone tries me, good luck with that shit. Good luck. Because you're not getting away with anything. I'm more likely to look the other way and allow poor behavior when I'm not feeling vulnerable because I'm in a mindset of, oh, you know what? This person doesn't understand. It's fine. Whatever. It's fine. They're just being silly. They're just being dumb. It's fine. When I'm in a space of vulnerability, I see your behavior exactly as it is. I don't have the luxury of creating a story in my mind about how, oh, you didn't mean it. Oh, you're not a bad person. Oh, this and oh, that. Like, no, I don't have that luxury. I don't have the luxury to gaslight myself into a space of compliance. So, vulnerability is not a weakness. It's merely a state of being, and your state of being is in constant flux because you're a dynamic energy. You're not supposed to be flatlined. You're not supposed to be in a space of monotonous existence where you're consistently positive and peaceful and cheery and love and light and all. Yeah, no. That's evidence that you're not really existing, because it's a flat line. When you look at medical cases, when the patient is flatlined, what does that mean? They dead. They dead. They're unalived. Yeah. So feel the things you need to feel. Have the reactions and responses you need to have. But know that your goal is always to return back to a space of centeredness. You're not supposed to continue down that path of erratic behaviors, and you know what I mean? Um, does that explain the random spots of adrenaline, like the spikes of adrenaline? Possibly. Possibly. So, galactic assistance in reverse. You're not going to be able to call to you the help of other things. That includes angelics. Angelics are galactic in nature. They're galactic. Yeah. Angelics are UFOs, unidentified flying objects. Angelics are extraterrestrials because they're not from this terrestrial space. So you're not going to be helped by your guardians, guides, angels, and all of that. No, this is something you're needing to learn. It's not that you're being abandoned, it's that you're being given the opportunity to learn things with no handholding. So when a baby is learning to walk, yes, at first their hand needs to be held so that they can begin to understand the dynamics between balance and form and function of body parts and all of that, right? A baby needs that. But you're not a baby anymore. You're entering into your toddlerhood. So with that, after a certain point of holding the baby's hands to encourage them to try walking, they're not actually walking until you see them walking without holding your hand. That's a huge development. That's a developmental milestone. So you're about to reach a milestone in your development because of this process that you're in with this cross watcher. I mean, this is not something you can force. This is not something you can coerce. This is not something that you can guarantee what the outcome will be. But this is still something that you need to experience. This is something you need to experience. Like jumping into water and learning to swim. Yes. If you guys have taken swim classes as children, the swim instructor will often hold you and keep you up at the surface of the water until you gain the confidence to do it yourself. And then usually what ends up happening is they're like, I'm not holding you anymore. Like riding your bike as well. You need that crutch of knowing there's someone there who can help you, who can protect you, who can balance you. But that crutch is not always necessary, at least at the end. It's not necessary at the end when you've already learned what you need to learn. You just need to apply it with confidence, with some type of belief in yourself, because you're growing. Growth. You're growing, you're becoming more of who you are, who you've been this whole time. The thing that's changing is your perception. Your perception of who you are and what you're here to do is what's being shifted. So let it shift. Michael says, and TikTok, if you want me to talk more about Melty Face Mikey, let a girl know. I know quite a few of you guys have asked me to talk more about Melty Face. I can when I have time. Let me just pull a final card because I'm sleepy. I am sleepy. Okay, let's see where this is going to take us. So confused about what to do. Someone is very confused. Do the thing that you're the most afraid of doing. Do that. Do the thing you are most afraid of doing, because that is the very thing that transports you to the other side of your fear. You are punishing yourself by dragging your feet about what you need to get done. It's just one of those things. It's one of those things. Like, I remember a while ago, maybe I think it's even a few years ago. Yeah, no, it's a few years. One of my kids, quite a few years actually, one of my kids had a loose tooth, right? And the thing was just like barely hanging on. And so it was affecting the way they're eating, because whenever they would bite, it's one of the front teeth. Whenever they would bite something, that wiggly tooth would like give way, but it wouldn't fully come off. And so it was causing them pain. And it was this thing of like, for, I don't know, a week, I think it was about a week, maybe even 10 days. I kept asking, do you want me to pull it out now? Do you want me to pull it out now? And they kept like crying over it because they were scared. Well, finally, by the 7th or the 10th day, however long it was, I had had enough. I'm like, you know what? As your parent, it is my job to ensure that you are okay. That tooth needs to come out. I have watched you suffer for long enough. And of course, my kid was like, no, no, don't pull it out. Honey, I'm going to just need to do it really quick. It's going to be real fast. I understand if you're mad at me. You can be mad at me for as long as you want or need. I still love you. I have to be a responsible parent and do this for you. I'm done watching you suffer. And so I yanked it out. I literally just and it fell out. And then of course they cried at first. And then they realized like the tooth was out. They're like, "It's out?" I said, "Yeah, it's done." And they're like, "That's it?" Yes. That's it. That's it. That's all it is. And they're like, "Oh my gosh, I scared myself for nothing." I said, "Yeah, yeah, it's okay. Now you know." And after that, it was this thing of, you do what you need to do to make that tooth fall out. If you don't like me having to step in, you got to do what you need to do. Wiggle it, wiggle it, wiggle it, and try and twist it or do whatever you got to do. But we can't leave it like that where you allow the fear to prolong your suffering. For many of us, this is a reason why you have such a hard time with your life. It's not because life sucks. It's not because you have bad luck. It's not because you're a horrible person and you're being punished. It's because you're allowing your fear to perpetuate your suffering. You know what I've taught myself over the years? I have taught myself that if I am afraid of something, I'm going to run towards it full speed ahead. I will look it in the eyes and run directly at it. Why? Because I'd rather get that uncomfortable thing over with. I'm going to have to do it anyway, so I might as well just get it over with. Just get it over with. Just do it. Get it over with. And that's why not a lot of things can slow me down in life. Because I'm kind of just like, oh, I need to do that. Okay. Do I know how? No, I'll figure it out, I guess. I guess I'll figure it out. Y'all saw me shuffle this deck, right? You guys saw me shuffle it a couple times, and then I pulled one from the center, completely random. It's the same freaking card. Passion for Purpose, card number 2, guidance. The number 2 is about guidance. So we're being guided. When I pull the same card twice in a row, that's potent. That is potent. Potent. All right. Passion for Purpose. Live like life flows through the heart. Feel the thrill of the flow and say nothing. Do you yearn to find your way, to fulfill your divine destiny, to know the purpose for your presence within this sacred body of the Earth Mother? Your heart is questing for deeper meaning. Ooh. Your presence helps your cross watcher develop a deeper meaning for their life. Ooh, wow. That's profound. It desires certainty as to your sacred task for this lifetime. Your heart wants to know why you were born, for what purpose. You must know that the answer to these questions is love. I bring you your answer straight from the heart of the universe. Be wild within your passion. Do that which stirs your soul, even when it makes you uncomfortable. You're being told to do it. Do it. I don't know what it is. Do it. Whatever it is you fear the most, do it. Do it. Do that which stirs your soul, even when it makes you uncomfortable, especially then, for what is being truly alive, if not a decision to be open instead of resistant, to be wild rather than comfortable, so that at any moment we will be ready for the invitation of the divine beloved to come closer. I call to you now, the you that is beyond your mind, the you that the heart knows, the you that cannot deny life. To that you, I ask this question: what stirs the passions of your nature? Do that. Be that. Ooh. Someone is being given very specific instruction, you know? Um, ooh, and yeah, why are you bringing up stuff like that? Why? She says, remember that time you were live and didn't want to get a certain message and you kept reshuffling thoroughly like 3 times, only to get the exact same cards like every time? I don't remember nothing. Ooh. I don't remember nothing. I don't know what you're talking about. As we I really don't remember it, but I'm sure that I've done that. I'm not denying that I did that. I'm just telling the truth. I don't remember. Okay. Anyways, as we grow on the spiritual path, so too does our ability to serve life, to serve love, to honor humanity, and to offer a contribution that's unique to us, that could only flow in this particular way through the quality of our own soul light. Every light holds its own beauty, and every light has a particular task to fulfill on the divine path of life. To help us remember this, lest we get too easily distracted by the pain and stress that happens in life, we were given an inbuilt reminder. That reminder is our passion. We may think that passion is not particularly practical. We may feel fearful that with passion, there are no guarantees of success, or that we may even be throwing away a stable and secure life to pursue our passion. These are the fears of many a modern society, yet they are so misplaced. Life supports all beings based on their true nature. So, if the true nature of this connection with another person is that you are to be in proximity to each other, part of each other's life to some degree, at some level, life will support that happening. Life will continue to bring your paths together to the degree that it crosses, not just travels in a parallel. No. What if for some people you are their end destination? What if for the cross watcher, no matter what road you take, it leads you back to the same place, a place of convergence? So I would say you're just punishing yourself by going in circles. You can continue to go in circles if you want. That's fine. I'm not going to make you stop. Are you kidding me? That's not what I do. That's not how I love people. I don't tell you what to do. I point out how idiotic it is to continue going in circles, and then I free you to decide for yourself if you want to continue being in circles. I mean, you get dizzy, you burn up all your calories, you waste all your water. It's up to you. Then you feel hangry and thirsty. You wonder why you feel the way you do. You keep going in circles. That's why. Life supports all beings based on their true nature. The birds are given air in which to fly, and fish are given water in which to swim. Plants are given light of the open plains or darkness of the damp rainforest. Depending on their needs for growth, different flowers flourish in different environments. Bees have wings that are small but powerful enough to move with such speed and rotation that their heavy bodies can fly. Each aspect of creation is given what it requires so it may become what it is meant to be for its unique destiny to be fulfilled. So everything is going to happen in the way that it's going to happen, regardless of whether you want to participate or not. That lack of desire to comply with what your soul is tasking you to do and learn, you're going to have fun with that. You're going to have fun with that. Do you think the knowledge of that frightens some twins? The knowledge of what? Do I think the knowledge of what frightens some twins? So it is with humanity. Each one of us has something in our hearts that means something to us. It's irrelevant whether it seems practical or a recipe for success or not. We are simply meant to be what we are, to serve life faithfully from a place of honoring the truth of our nature, that which we genuinely feel passionate about, and to allow for life to naturally support growth according to our genuine nature. Where we get into difficulty is not in bringing our genuine passions to life, for life supports this, but in learning to let go of attachment as to how that happens. So when you try and control the way something is going to play out, yeah, you'll absolutely get confused as to what to do. Absolutely. Because guess what? More often than not, when you're trying to control a situation, you're running from a place of ego. You're operating in a place of ego. Ego has no idea what's happening. Ego is simply trying to survive every moment as it passes. That's all ego does. Try to survive. We can struggle to free ourselves of the expectation we have to be something we are not. The divine path of love asks us to become conscious of and then unlearn the play acting of attempting to be a false self so that we may learn to simply love and accept our real self, right? We may even have a struggle on our hands to remember who our real self actually is for a time. And maybe that's why this person whoever it is for you guys, maybe that's why this person is kind of being nudged to come forward for you or towards you, so that your presence can help to remind them who their real self is. Fortunately, there's a pleasure in the journey of returning to passion that can make the process of self-discovery a sweet one. But we must be brave even in the sweetness of the journey back to the real self. We must dare to believe that we are not broken, that we are not inadequate or better off to be like some other person or some other person's view of how they think we should be. We must be brave enough to not believe in the layers of guilt and shame. I think that's the issue, is that there's so many layers of guilt and shame. You made a bad decision and then you shamed yourself for that, and then you felt guilty. So every single time that decision comes forward to be rectified, to be modified, rectified, however you want to see it, you shrink from it because you're embarrassed. Get over it. That was hard. Seriously, get over it. Get over it. Seeing the labyrinth and knowing the end result, regardless of the paths that they might take. I guess some twins can be frightened by that. Seeing the labyrinth and knowing the end result. Honestly, if I really let myself think about that question, and Yaya, do I think the knowledge of seeing the labyrinth and knowing the end result, regardless of the paths that they might take, frightens some twins? When I allow myself to be very honest in my processing of that question, my knee-jerk reaction, my knee-jerk answer is no. They are not afraid of seeing the labyrinth and knowing the end result, regardless of the paths that they might take. They are afraid they will not be authorized to control the way that path goes. The labyrinth is set before you. It is not created by you. Someone has a control issue. Not you, but whoever that twin is, they have a control issue. Here's the thing. The only time someone has a control issue is because they've experienced periods that have traumatized them into this belief that they have no power, they have no voice. I had serious control issues for a long time. Those control issues began to express themselves in a way that was very akin to clinical obsessive compulsive disorder. I was on the cusp of being diagnosed as obsessive compulsive. So why was I controlling things, or trying to control things, trying to organize things, trying to make sure everything is in its proper place all the time? Because I felt chaotic inside. All of this energy, this power, your personal power is expressed in frequency. You feel this frequency, but you can't quantify what you're feeling. So, because of the lack of ability to quantify, what ends up happening is you identify it as chaos. What is the human perception of the antithesis of chaos? Order. So that's a human's way of trying to tap into their abilities, trying to make sense of how powerful they are. But it doesn't help make sense of how powerful you are so long as you continue to dance around the topic of your power. The most powerful thing you can do is make a decision and stick with it. That's what I learned. That's the most powerful thing you can do. Make a decision and stick with it. But what if, yeah, what if? What if this, what if the polar opposite of that? You don't know until you do. You don't know until you do. Or What I also see is people will be paralyzed by their fear of the unknown, fear of the potentiality of failure, of rejection, of all of these different things that you won't know until you do. They'll get paralyzed by that. And because of that power paralysis, they end up being consumed by the very monster that's simply begging for them to make a decision, left or right. See, you're in the walkway. You're in the walkway and a monster is standing in front of you and you fear it because it's something you don't understand. And you're doing the left, right, left, right. And then you get so afraid that you're just standing there blocking the way. In reality, all this monster wanted you to do was pick either left or right. We've all been in a grocery store in some type of public setting where you come face to face with a complete stranger. When you go left, they go right. So you're going in the same direction. And yeah, ooh, ooh, ooh. And someone at some point has to find the courage to enter into a space of cognition to where they're going to be like, okay, are you going left or are you going right? Right? And usually when someone says that, the person who's asked will be like, I'm going to go this way. And they can get around each other. I mean, that's all it really is. It's this fear of speaking your needs into being, communicating with soul, communicating with someone who is a reflection of your soul. Seeing the labyrinth and knowing the end result, regardless of the paths that they may take, does that cause fear? In twins, no. I think the fear is that they've been able to hide the most profound, most intimate aspects of themselves from everyone. But they know they cannot hide it from you. So then that becomes scary. Whatever character they play for other people, whether it's a character of being very open and very confident, they can't play that character with you because you see right through them. You see right through them. Right? So Matthew says, I feel as if I have done nothing of value in this. Sacrifice was ignored. I was having a very profound conversation with someone near and dear to me regarding sacrifice in relationships and connections. It was this concept of, they had a concept that in relationships, you have to be willing to sacrifice. And I was like, no, not in a healthy one, not in a loving one, not in a healthy, loving relationship. No, sacrifice is not involved in that at all. At all. Sacrifice is not equivalent to compromise. It's not about understanding someone's differing need from your own needs. Sacrifice is about chipping away parts of yourself until you lose enough of yourself that now you're filled with the bitterness, the empty, hollow feeling of bitterness. You see, sacrifice is emotional manipulation because as you break away parts of yourself to give it away without verbalizing or even implying that you expect them to break off a part of themselves in order to fill the void that you just created for yourself within yourself. I mean, yeah, most people don't know that they're supposed to feel obligated to do that. So sacrifice has nothing to do with a healthy relationship. It's manipulation. It's not intentionally malignant, but it's still manipulation nonetheless. It's emotional and intellectual, mental manipulation. I mean, how could you say that? I'm sacrificing things. Yeah, well, who sacrifices things? Martyrs. They sacrifice themselves. Why do they sacrifice themselves? to further whatever it is they're wanting to further. So because they're giving themselves up, you are now obligated to go in the direction they wanted you to go. That's manipulation. I am forcing my will upon you by way of manipulating your feelings and your perception. That's not good. So, do you need to sacrifice yourself? Do you need to sacrifice parts of yourself? I mean, the choice is really up to you. But just know you're not necessarily going to force someone into a space of obligation, obligatory mirroring of your desire to sacrifice yourself. They're not going to have to sacrifice themselves. Like, that's not, there's no rule that says there has to be a tit for tat on that, you know? So, this oracle comes to you with guidance. You're being initiated more deeply into your life purpose. Your passion will reveal itself to you with more depth, nuance, and beauty than ever before. If parts of your life are dissembling or do not seem to be working out as you had planned, these are symptoms of this passionate revelation. Be curious and open to what presents itself in the wake of the falling away. Be ready for the journey within now. You are strong enough to leave behind the need for external validation while you learn to validate yourself. You will not validate yourself until you see yourself doing the very thing you were afraid to do in the first place. If you're waiting for a sign, I promise you, you've received so many signs. You just didn't want to believe it, you know? You didn't want to believe it. So, in time, soon enough, in fact, you shall reveal your innermost beauty and be witnessed and received, acknowledged for your innate value, purpose, and divinity. See, if you this phrase right here or this portion, you shall reveal your innermost beauty and be witnessed and received, acknowledged for your innate value, purpose, and divinity. That means whoever it is you're so afraid to show yourself to, um, it becomes a thing of like your fear of rejection. Yeah, no. You're intellectualizing your fear, your excuses. You're intellectualizing it. What if this? What if that? Like, no, no. I'm just going to start picking the lint off my hat because nope, 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 nope. Yeah, no, you got to stop with that. Let me read this again. Be ready for the journey within now. You are strong enough to leave behind the need for external validation while you learn to validate yourself. You're strong enough to not need that anymore. You know, you don't need to do that anymore. Allow the witnessing of your life unfolding through the decisions you make, the actions you take based on those decisions. Allow that to be your validation. Soon enough, you shall reveal your innermost beauty and be witnessed and received, acknowledged for your innate value, purpose, and divinity. But for now, sweet beloved, dive deep, be defiant, and determined to honor your heart so your deep passion may be witnessed by you and eventually, naturally, make its way into sacred expression in the world. If you have recently discovered a new talent or purpose, or have been dreaming some big dreams, this oracle comes to you with guidance and confirmation. You are excited. Follow that excitement. Let it lead you into your own heart truth and onto an even more passionate path of purposeful living. Okay. So, you got to make a decision. You got to stick with it. Making a decision and sticking with it does not bar you from, being whiny within yourself. We all have an inner Eeyore. Okay. Eeyore? Winnie the Pooh's donkey friend? We all have an inner Eeyore. This part of us that is just so negative, so like dense and like, I'm gonna fail. I'm no good. Okay, Eeyore, have some juice and take a nap. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. See, Leia fucking Potter. I love that. Okay, Leia fucking Potter says I'm deep in my ER. I'm sorry. Like, I don't know why I read your name that way. I like it though. I like your screen name. Okay. I know. And yeah. ER is so depressing. Did I read it right? Did I put the right emphasis on the right syllable? I said it so passionately, though. She's like, you're amazing. You read it exactly right. Leia fucking Potter. I love that. Is that your legal name? That's not your legal name, right? Shit. Okay, let me stop. So, so unconnected. I don't believe they even see the pain. Matthew, it's not their job to see your pain. That's manipulative. I know you're not trying to be manipulative. That's why I'm telling you. That behavior, that mindset is manipulative. That's martyrdom right there. Let me allow myself to hurt so that people can see I'm hurting and now feel very obligated to save me from my own choices. No bueno. No bueno, no bueno, muy mal. Yeah, no, you can't expect other people to heal the pain you're creating for yourself. And the way you're creating that pain for yourself is by the way you perceive the situation you're in. For some people, you will perceive the situation you're in as though you have no other choices, you're stuck. This is what life is. This is how life is. Yeah, that's exactly how life is if that's how you choose to make life. You think people give me permission to be who I am? You think people give me the validation I need to heal? And that's why I'm in the process of self-healing? No. I'm in the process of self-healing because I'm defiant as fuck to the people who want me to lay in a heaping pile on the floor crying because they didn't validate me. Fuck those people. I don't need their fucking validation. Guess what? God co-signed me into existence. So fuck them and their validation. Fuck society and its desire to force me to conform. When I was born, created, specifically designed to remind all of you, there's no fucking mold that's powerful enough to hold you. I don't fucking think so. I don't need someone to validate me. It helps when there's validation. Is it necessary? No, it is not. It is not. It is not. I've lived my entire life faced by people who don't validate me. As a matter of fact, they go out of their way to invalidate me. They go out of their way to make me feel badly for existing. I don't give a fuck. I don't care. I don't care who gets inconvenienced by my existence. That's not my problem. I say that with absolute seriousness. That is not my problem. That is for them to address within themselves. That someone who is minding their own business, living their own life, is being given the authority by them to inadvertently negatively affect their life. That's their own weakness. That has nothing to do with me. There is this I was watching this video of this girl, right? And it was this thing of like, whew, it was intense. So it reminded me how, people will be drawn to me, will become friends. And at first, they really love everything about me, right? That's what they claim. They love everything about me. Oh, I'm so this and I'm so that. And I'm just like, okay, whatever. We're cool. I don't know. What do you want me to say to that? And then after a while, without anything changing on my end, because I'm still in my head, like, we're buddies. Yay, we're buddies. And then out of nowhere, the person will do a complete 180. They suddenly dislike me tremendously, are talking shit about me to other people, making up absolute fucking stories about Emmy this and Emmy that. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? And I couldn't understand, like, what the hell is that about? Like, why? Why does that? What am I doing? And this video reminded me, the girl was talking about, see, the reason they have an issue with you is because they're faking who they are. They thought you were faking too. And when they spent enough time with you, they realized you didn't have to try to be who you are. You just naturally are. They have to try to be that. They are trying to be just like you. And so they're pissed off because they realize, oh, you actually are a good person. Oh, you actually are loving. Oh, shit, you actually are empowering. Holy shit. The people who are falling in love with you because they're watching you be yourself. Oh my God. It wasn't an act. So then that means that's the real you. And that means people actually love you. They don't get that kind of love because they don't show who they are. And so their issue is that you have naturally, with no effort, what they want. Still not your problem. It's still not your problem to fix whoever it is they're trying to be. Sacrificing yourself for someone who cannot stand the fact that you are who you are. You can do that if you want. Or you can go to emmyevolving.com and book a parasitic extraction, because that's some parasitic as fuck mindset. It's parasitic. I mean, it's parasitic. It's parasitic. You have to love yourself to the degree that you can get past all of that nonsensical, very disruptive, very distorted perception of yourself. You don't deserve to treat yourself that way. You just don't. And it's not my place to convince you of the fact that you don't deserve to hurt yourself that way consistently. That is a journey you have to choose to travel. It just is. And as long as you continue to allow yourself to stay in that same mindset, you're going to hurt yourself. Do you need to? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. You know what I found? This was one of the most powerful realizations. You see, I was waiting for a large portion of my life for someone to come and validate me, right? Someone who could see the real me and be like, Emmy, you're a good person. And I had that through the years. Various people, they would say that. And my programming ran so deep that whenever someone would say that to me, the very validation I'm seeking, I would very silently, very secretly gaslight myself into this space of, oh, they're just being nice to you. They probably feel sorry for you. Yeah, that's ugly. That's ugly. When I was in that space within my journey, it was ugly. Um, Still makes me feel some kind of way that I experienced my journey for as long as I did in that way. Um, I'm learning to forgive myself for having a negative opinion of a portion of my learning process. But here's the thing, the most profound thing that I learned, or one of the most profound things that I've learned, I couldn't accept validation from other people until I began validating myself. It blew my mind. It blew my mind because I look back and it's like, fuck, girl. You had so many people validating you your whole life. You couldn't accept it. You can have an entire room of people who validate you, love you, cherish you, and you will still create a story within yourself that will explain away, excuse away the validation that you're seeking. Because what? They didn't say it in the proper tone? They didn't use the proper inflection? We have all these excuses as to why we cannot receive the validation we seek. You can't receive the validation you seek because you're programmed to not validate yourself. So I don't necessarily think the highest about myself. I think I'm average. I'm average for what I am. It's not me diminishing myself. It's not me trying to play humble. I feel like I'm a regular person going through the usual stuff. It's just my capacity to comprehend, my capacity for clarity is probably more developed because I've been through more stuff, right? And that's it. I've just had more opportunities to fucking be traumatized by life. And that's helped me to develop my understanding of why I was traumatized. So then comes this thing of, why do people think I'm confident? I'm not. I actually am not. People don't realize this. I'm not faking confidence. I'm talking to a screen in a room by myself. I'm literally talking to a green dot on my laptop. What you're seeing is me feeling comfortable with myself. It's not confidence. What you're witnessing is me in real time, learning to accept myself as I am. I will say things in ways that maybe I would have preferred, had I paused to think about it, I would have preferred to communicate it in a different way. And I keep telling myself at this point, it was communicated in the way that it needed to be for whoever needed to hear it. Yes, there's other more eloquent, more succinct ways to communicate without using fricatives, sentence enhancers, but like, yeah, sometimes I get carried away in the expression, and it sometimes fuck comes out of my mouth. Sometimes I cannot help it. That's because I'm being real and I'm being raw and I'm being who I am. And as I go deeper into the process of accepting myself rather than rejecting myself, my fear of rejection from others diminishes, hand in hand with my fear of rejecting myself. So, what you go through outside of you is nothing but a reflection, an externalized projection of your internal circumstance. The things you tell yourself in silence and secret will be reiterated by someone outside of you. The way you treat yourself is the way someone outside of you will eventually treat you. I learned this the hard way, painful way, the publicly embarrassing way. But did I die? I cried. But I didn't die at all. I didn't die. I didn't get destroyed. I didn't any of that. None of it. I broke open further and I saw more beauty waiting for me inside. I had to go through the process to begin accepting that I am beautiful inside. I am a good person. I'm loving. I help people because it's in my genuine nature to help. Not for clout, not for public persona cultivation, not for any of that. It is just who I am. Do you know what it's like to experience strangers forming groups because they share this common hatred for you, having never done anything to any of them? Do you know what it's like to have group chats created to discuss how you are a demon, how you should be removed from the face of the earth? It feels liberating, is how it feels. Because I began to realize that was the internal conversations I would have between myself and my soul. Why do I have to be here? Nobody likes me anyways. What if people see what I can do with energy and they think that I'm evil? Let me tell you, maybe in previous lives, but not in this one. I had to live quite a few evil lives in order to cultivate the desire for peace that I have in this one. I had to do quite a bit. And I just have to accept that those are not lives I'm currently living. Those are lives that were allowed to happen so I could learn and be prepared for this one. There's nothing intrinsically evil in me. And I don't need to continue rejecting myself to make uncomfortable people more comfortable with their discomfort. Fuck them. For real. You know, I had someone come on a live stream a couple of years ago. Very dumb person. Yeah, I don't give a fuck how that makes me look saying they're dumb. I'll tell you why. I'll tell you the story and you'll be like, they're fucking dumb. So they come on my live stream and they get energy work done for me, right? I think they wanted a scan or something like that. So I'm doing the scan and I come to the realization this person that I'm scanning, along with several others, were trying to ambush me with energy. They were trying to ambush me. They were trying to harm me with energy. So I paused what I was doing. And for you who have known me for a while on Facebook, you might have been there during that live stream. I paused what I was doing and I was like, are you here to intentionally try and harm me? And they were like, yes. I mean, no, bitch, you already said yes. They said yes. Fucking idiota. Okay. They said yes. Yeah. Some people don't realize there's something within my frequency that when I ask a direct question, if I allow my frequency to go there, you cannot lie to me. You will tell me exactly what the truth is. So I was like, okay, well, I'm turning off all your abilities because you're not allowed to hurt me. So I turned their abilities off. That's what I did. And I told them too, I'm turning it off. You won't be able to do shit to anyone. Because again, the other option is that I fuck you up. That's another option. I don't like that. You know, as much as possible. I don't like that. Why? What's the point? I don't want to be a reflection of someone lesser than me. So I just turned off their abilities. And next thing you know, after the live stream, they began messaging me on my Facebook business page. Emmy, please, all the demons. Please give me back my powers. I'm defenseless against the demons. No, that's not my problem. That's what you roll with. I didn't send them to you. They've been with you. They're your friends. No, I'll let your soul decide. And yeah. She says, did they think that you were just playing with cards? Did they not know how psychic you are? I understand that they didn't know your capacity for war, but how could they not know how psychic you are? See, here's the thing. There's a lot of people that fake their abilities, and so it's not uncommon. And plus, I was playing small. I was. Um, you know, I was. I hid a lot of it for a very long time because I felt like people wouldn't be able to wrap their mind around who I am, what I am, and I would scare them. And in that erroneous belief, I actually emboldened their fears and gave them the fuel they needed to think that they could do that type of thing to me. So I co created that with them. I take responsibility for it. I co created that with them. That's why now you guys will hear me address someone directly, like, I'll fuck your ass up. My patience is thin for people fucking with me on live streams at this point. It's been quite a few years already. It would be best if you stop because, you know, I am not emotionally and mentally mature enough yet to be able to show restraint once I start. I will fuck your ass up energetically. I don't want to be that. I don't want to do that. So just leave me be. Leave me be. You know, That's why I address things now. It's not to sound badass or look badass. I'm not trying to cultivate any type of public persona, public image, public reputation. I literally am who I am. I am who I am. And that's just that. So confused about what to do. What you need to do is just be who you are. The more you refuse to be who you are and make the decisions you need to make, the more you complicate your journey, the more you invite the elevations in hardship, not because you need to experience hardship, but because you choose to. These are things you choose. So if you can choose that, you can choose to facilitate your growth. You can choose to facilitate your healing. You can choose to facilitate the expansion of your awareness of who you are, what you are, where you are. You can choose quite a bit. That's a polar opposite of what you have been choosing for your entire life. So let's be really real here. For most of your life, you've chosen to sabotage yourself and your growth. For most of your life, you've chosen to sacrifice yourself. For most of your life, you've chosen to make a priority the very people who wouldn't think twice about tossing you to the wayside the moment you're no longer usable. Tell me where I lied. Yes, it was a harsh communication. But also, yes, for most of your life, you have refused to hear the truth about what you deserve until you're shook by your shoulders by life itself. So you're welcome. Welcome for what? Well, you're welcome because you should be thanking me for using the language that will help you to understand and accept that you deserve more than what you are allowing. You're welcome. I'm not above you. I'm not superior to you. I'm just at a different place of awareness within myself than you currently are. And no, you are not to shift your positioning within yourself and your life to be more like me. No, 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 no. You are to shift your positioning to be more of who you are. And that's that. So confused about what to do. You're not confused. You're just defiant. You are defying the guidance of your soul. So stop. Stop fighting yourself. Your life will unfold with or without your consent. Your life will unfold. Things will happen. You will realize sooner, hopefully, rather than later. If you fight your process, it will absolutely be later. That's okay. If that's what you choose, then that's what you choose, and you'll still learn. I say this as someone who never realizes there are other options outside of the hardest way possible to do something. I always fucking end up choosing the hardest way possible. That's fine. I still get through the lesson, but and because I chose the hardest way possible without realizing, I learned the more nuanced version of the lesson. That's all. That's all. I had the enhanced lesson. That's it. You still get through it at some point and you move on to the next lesson. It's not a big deal. It is not a big deal. It is something that we all go through. And the more compliant you are with what your soul is asking you to do, the less you struggle. Do you want to struggle less? Listen to your soul more. If you don't want to listen to your soul, prepare for more struggle. It's a very, very simple exchange. Not with someone else, with your soul. I mean, you cannot avoid it. You cannot avoid it. I gotta go, you guys. It's like what time already? I've been live for 2 hours almost. Well, y'all on TikTok, you do what you do. I don't know if like you pick a like button or something. Do something with this. Share it out. I don't know. We'll figure out what we're supposed to say on TikTok. for YouTube, Facebook, and Vimeo. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel, subscribe to the page, and, come back again. I'll be live again probably tomorrow morning before my class. Yeah. If you'd like to book a private reading or private session, go to my website, emmyevolving.com. You guys can find all my quantum Kalontic services over there. And, have a good night. Be good to yourself. Love yourself the way you love everyone else. Ooh, that one always hits me in the chest. Love yourself the way you love everyone else. You know exactly how deep that is. So love yourself at that depth. You won't drown. That's where you exist. However deeply you can love other people is the depth that you live in, regardless of what games you play, regardless of what character you create to hide it. Don't be ashamed of your depth. I promise you, there is at least one person out there that craves that depth that you exist in. Because guess what? That's where they live too. And neither of you have to come up for air. Talk about beautiful. All right, guys, I really got to go. Good night. I love y'all. Bye, everyone.